Okay, it's happening. It's happening. We are live. We're live from deep in my basement. Hello. Welcome. Tune in. Okay, so we'll give it a second here and see if anyone joins. I think I've got one. Hello. Hello to the one. The one matters. Welcome. Let's get in here. Let's see if I'm going live on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. I should be on Rumble. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm on Rumble. Let's see here. It's already Friday. I mean, I feel like the weeks are just flying by. And I think that happens when you get older. It's just like, well, it just keeps happening. You're just old, it just keeps going. I feel like I told my Patreon supporters yesterday that I feel like once your kids go back to school, it's like you blink and it's Christmas. And it used to not be like that. And when you were a kid, if somebody was like, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow, you'd be like, tomorrow? That's forever away. But it's different now. It's just, it keeps flying by. And I don't know. I wish I could stop it, but I can't. All right. Hello, Bob on Facebook. Janelle on Facebook. Peggy, what's up? Peggy, one of my supporters. Sarah on YouTube. Welcome. Let's get in here. Let's have a little conversation. Let's shut it up. Lots going on. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I am living in the Twilight Zone. It's like, I just want to read you. I got to find this. I want to read you a tweet that I read from my Governor Jared Polis, out of Colorado. He wrote this morning, and he said the Biden-Harris administration's historic infrastructure investments have fixed our roads and bridges. They've bolstered our economy, revitalized our communities, and created thousands of clean jobs in the sectors of the future. Today, on the third anniversary of this bipartisan law, we are closer than ever to a future where passenger rail is a reality for Colorado. Our state is powered by clean energy innovation, and our workforce is prepared with the skills they need for the jobs of tomorrow. And I read this, and it's like, Biden-Harris, they fixed our roads, they fixed our bridges, they bolstered our economy, they've revitalized our communities, and they've created thousands of clean jobs. And I'm reading this, and I'm thinking to myself, do I not live in the same state that this guy does? I mean, what is happening? They are gaslighting us like we've never witnessed this, you guys. This is 1984, like right now. They're like, everything is fine. It has been fantastic this last 3.5 years under the Biden-Harris administration. And ignore what your checking account says. Ignore what your saving account says, and just nod along with us and agree that it has been fantastic. It's been so good that you want to get another 4 years of this by electing Harris as president. Yes, you do. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm sorry, wake me up. This has got to be a bad dream. It's got to be a bad dream because it's not real. It's not real. And anyone that's buying this is not living in reality. They hate Trump so much that they're like, yeah, just gaslight me. I mean, tell me what to think. Tell me what to believe. Yeah, I guess it has been great. Yeah, I can't afford anything right now, but I guess I want to do this for another 4 years. Groceries are expensive, but let's go for it for another 4 years. Can't buy a home, but I guess it's good because you're telling me it's good. Wake up. It's not good, and it hasn't been good. And it's hilarious for me to watch Kamala Harris say, just if you elect me, I will fix this. I will fix the mess that I've created. And there are people that are like, yes, Kamala Harris, yes, we want her. We want her. I mean, guys, they've been in charge. They've been in charge. They have been in charge. I feel like I'm talking to like a bunch of zombies. Wake up, America. You've got to see this. Your own life. You've got to ask yourself, have these last 4 years been fantastic for you? Has your family been able to thrive? Have you been able to go on vacations you want to go on? Have you been able to buy that car you've been looking at? Have you been able to, I mean, for me, it's determining whether we go rec league for sports, even though I've got very talented athletes, or we go club. But club is so much more expensive, so we're going to have to go rec league. I mean, that's reality. It's being in the line in the grocery store and looking at your cart and thinking, I've got to take something out. And taking something out and handing it to the cashier and being like, can you just put this back? I don't want it. I don't want it. That's reality. That's what Americans are facing right now. But they're so joyful. They are so joyful. Yes, they're joyful as America burns. Why? Because they are communists. If you understand communism, if you've read the Communist Manifesto, and I highly encourage every single person out there to read it, you have to burn it all down. So it's not like, oh, they just don't know what they're doing. It's intentionally being done. Like, oh, they just don't know. She's just an idiot. Like, right? No, it's intentionally being done because you have to burn it all down to then create the communist utopia where it's all the collective and we all rule together in peaceful harmony. But that never happens, right? Because there's always some tyrant that arises and wipes all of the communist lovers out. Every single time this happens. And we're facing it right now. And they're intentionally doing. Kamala Harris's her plan, one of her main policies is to price caps, right? You go to the grocery store, you're frustrated, right? Just like I said, and you're like, I cannot pay this much for I said bananas yesterday to my supporters. Like, I can't pay this much for bananas, like they're expensive. Well, the Kamala Harris administration wants to put a cap on bananas. You know, you can only charge $2 for bananas. We're going to cap it off there. It doesn't matter. We're going to cap it off. Well, here's the deal, okay, for those that are just completely illiterate in economics 101, because I'm not some super genius here, but I'm able to connect the dots because I shop for my family. I have to budget. I have to put things back when I can't afford them. You got a trucker, okay? Truckers deliver the food to the grocery stores. Guys, does everybody get this? Can we get to that point? Can we all agree on that? Even the haters, you people that are all in for Harris. There's a trucker out there and he's delivering the groceries to the grocery store. Okay. That is happening. That is factually true. Well, gas prices and energy costs have not gone down because we stopped drilling in America. We just cut it all, right? We're just like, you know what? We're going green, but we're going to let China pollute the world with no regulation, even though we'd have incredible regulation here. We'd make sure that we do have clean air, but we're just going to cut it all off. And so energy costs have skyrocketed. So this trucker's like, yeah, I can deliver your bananas, but it's going to cost X and X because that's how much it's costing right now because of energy, because of cost of fuel. And the grocery store is like, okay, just deliver the bananas. Just deliver them to the store, okay? Just deliver the bananas. So they deliver the bananas. Now the grocery store is thinking, okay, we had to pay more to get the bananas here. So what are we going to do? In order for us to continue to open up, we have to make some kind of profit in order for us to have a profit, right? Like, or else why would you have a business? If you can't make money in your business, what would you do? You would close your business. So Harris is like, we're going to put a price cap on bananas. So the grocery store is like, well, we can't charge more for bananas because Harris has she's put a cap on it. So that causes the grocery store to then make less money. That causes businesses to go out of business. This also causes a run on food because people are like, bananas are only $2. Let's go. And they get the bananas and they grab the bananas and now we're out of bananas. Okay. This is what happened in Venezuela. Okay. So then you have bread lines forming because people can't find food. Oh, that's just crazy. No, that's what happens. Well, we can afford all this if we cut corporate tax. That's what they're going to do. We're going to cut corporate tax. You know what cutting corporate tax does? It causes massive layoffs. Okay. My husband works for a corporation and he's been laid off multiple times because of tax. We can't afford it. So we're going to have to lay you off. Then you have massive unemployment. I mean, just think about it, people. Just put it together. I get it. You don't like Trump. I get it. He says stuff that you don't like. He's just, sometimes just, he bothers you. I know a lot of the suburban moms out there that don't understand economics. They just can't stand him. He's just get past all that. We vote on policy, and I'm going to continue to say this every single time I do a live stream now till the election. You don't have to like who you vote for. This isn't a popularity contest. You don't have to be like, yes, I love you so much. I want to marry you, and I am voting for you. I saw something. It's like, it's not your Valentine. You don't have to even like them at all. You could actually despise them, but I can't stand you. But I support the policies, okay? And I don't want to be standing in bread lines. And obviously, we've got two communists that have thrown their hats in the ring to run the country into the ground. So I can't support that. So I can't stand you. But I'm going to vote for you because of the policies. We vote on policies. That's it. She's presenting more policies this week. And it's a hot mess. Like every single thing she's rolling out is spend. Now you got to get this. Spending causes inflation. So her solution to fixing inflation is to cause more inflation. Okay. That's what her plan is. Now, you have to have a very low IQ or such a significant hate in your heart to support this. It's nonsensical. It's illogical. Like, that's where we're at. So, sorry I started off with a huge rant, but I want to hone this in, okay? A recent poll came out where they surveyed Democrats. They're like, okay, let's find out where Democrats are on this. This survey found that 70% of Democrats have no idea about Kamala Harris's policies. They have no idea. They have no idea. They have no idea that Kamala Harris supports abolishing ICE. And this can all be fact checked. Okay, so you're like, I can't stand you, Rachel. I hate you so much. Fact check me on this. All of these are factually true. We actually have the videos. I can't play all of them, but I retweeted videos of all of these being said by Harris herself. Okay, actually, let me give you exactly, just so you guys are like, that's not true. You're such a liar. We hate you, Rachel. We hate you so much. Let's keep it factual, right? Let's keep it factual. Okay. Okay, this person, as the world burns, BURNZ, at Twitter, laid out all of these policies with clips of Kamala Harris. I got to figure out whether it's Kamala and Kamala, and it's not being disrespectful whatsoever. I've heard big news organizations saying both, so I got to figure this out. So these are clips of Kamala Harris saying this herself. Okay. A video of her saying this. Let's just go through them. Abolishing ICE and decriminalizing illegal crossings. She said this. Defunding the police. Mandatory gun buybacks, which is confiscations, nationalizing energy, banning fracking, banning offshore drilling, abolishing the filibuster. That means the Senate can just pass through whatever they want, boom, 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 without getting the right amount of votes. Supporting the GND, ending private health insurance, free healthcare for all, including illegals, mass amnesty for illegals. She said this, okay? I'm not, well, this is, you're just trying to be fearful. You're just trying to make everyone scared, Rachel. That's what you're trying to make us scared. No, I'm just saying what Kamala has said, okay? Ending the death penalty, abolishing prisons. That's a fun one, right? I mean, if you have kids, yeah, you know, be careful on your bike ride. Just be careful wherever. You just got a bunch of prisoners running around. That sounds like a safe America, doesn't it? That sounds like a good time. Ending cash bail, ending mandatory minimum sentences. She's all said this on video, okay? Imposing a carbon tax and gender reassignment surgery and hormone replacement therapy. All been said on video. Fact check me on all of them. So that's what you're supporting. But 70% of Democrats don't know what they're voting for. They're just like, yes, just anyone but Trump. Anyone but Trump, because we hate him so much. Anyone but Trump. I can guarantee you that if you pull aside a Trump supporter, they could lay out 10 policies of Trump that they support. Who's more intelligent? Right? Like, I mean, honestly, if you are voting for something and you don't even know what it is you're supporting, doesn't that make you unintelligent? Ill-informed? Like, doesn't it? I mean, and I get it. There are some full-blown communists that are out there that are like, yes, release the prisoners. No cash bail. Like, I mean, like, you know, all the defund the police. Like, they're in it. They know her policies and they love them. That's the 30%, which is actually terrifying in itself, that you've got 30% of Democrats that are like, burn it all down. But for the other 70% that are like, I just don't know. I don't know what exactly it is about Kamala. Like, it's her laugh. Like, it's her joyous laughter that I think that's what we need. We need some more joyous laughter, because as Kamala burns it all to the ground, at least we can be laughing, right? Like, at least we can be joyful. Like, that is so important, you guys. It is so important that we just, that we laugh so hard as Kamala and Tim Walz just burn our country to the ground. I mean, I think that actually is my number one most important thing that I vote on. I can't. And I think to myself, okay, like how did we get here? Like, how? It's our school systems. Like, it all comes back to us sending children, our precious children, off to these indoctrination centers where they teach people to not think independently. You think what you're told to think. Don't you dare veer from the group. It's groupthink. And they begin to like, okay, well, the media says that this has been the best economy ever. So it must have been the best economy ever because the media told me that it's the best economy ever, even though in your own reality, it's not. Like, in reality, it's crazy. So we've got 70% of Democrats out there that don't know. And I guarantee you, and I know people that are going to vote for Harris because they just hate her so much. If I was to ask them, and these people won't talk politics with me because it's like, no, let's just avoid it. Like, let's just avoid it. But if I actually had the opportunity to be like, did you know that she's all about abolishing ICE? They would be like, no. Did you know that she wanted to defund the police, mandatory gun buybacks, banning fracking, abolishing the filibuster, ending private health insurance. Do you know what that means? Like ending private health insurance? That means like if you break your leg, get in line. Because there's 100 other people with broken legs that are in line to see a doctor. It's literally the DMV, the Department of Motorized Vehicles, in charge of healthcare. Do people understand that? Do you get it? I had no idea that she wanted to end privatized healthcare. I just know that I like Harris because I hate Trump. Abolishing prisons. I mean, if you have children, if you have grandkids, like, I don't know why would you want more criminals on the street? Like, when you read this, you have to say, this isn't better for America. Like, none of this is like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. It doesn't make sense because it's not to be better for America. They want to fundamentally transform this country. They are godless. Communism begins where atheism begins. That's Karl Marx. Like, they want government as God. They are godless. It's nuts. I can't. And okay, let's talk about this really quick. She won't do a press conference. She won't do a press conference. Like, okay, you're supporting Harris. Don't you want her to answer these questions? Rachel, you're lying. You're lying about all of the policies that she supports. You're such a liar. Let's ask her what she thinks. Let's ask her. Well, she won't let you ask her. I mean, isn't that a sign in itself? Like, don't ask me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so busy campaigning. I'm being so joyous right now. I can't answer your questions. Like, really? Like, the fact that she won't answer the press's question, that she won't hold a press conference, that should be a red light, like a boom, boom, boom. That yes, she does support this. I mean, come on, people. Tell me you're more intelligent. Tell me you are. Also this week, to recap the week, Elon Musk and Trump had a conversation. Yeah, they talked, and the media had a complete meltdown over it. They're like, oh my gosh, Trump had a lisp. He was rambling. They like to use the term rambling a lot. It's like they all got the cue, right? It's like, we're going to say he's rambling. Like, every single time he talks, it's just rambling. He's rambling. Yeah, he likes to talk. Thank God he likes to talk. He likes to talk because he wants you to know him. He wants you to know who he is. So he's talking to you. He's spending time with you because he cares about this nation. He cares about, oh no, he doesn't care about the guy. I don't know how you get there. He doesn't love this country. He doesn't care about this country. He was literally almost assassinated a month ago. Okay. And he's a wealthy guy. He's like a billionaire. He could go and live at Mar-a-Lago and just be like, peace, just let's let America burn. Like, I'm over it. They have persecuted me. They tried to kill me. They've just slandered my family. I'm done. The attempted assassination was the final straw. So I'm out. I'm out. It's been cool. Like, I'm out. He's not throwing the towel in. Well, he's just doing it because media, tell me what to think. Tell me what to think. He cares about this country, and he's willing to take the last few days, like his last few years of his life, or however long he has. Hopefully it's a long time. God bless him. To fight for this country, to stop all of this that they want to do. So he's having a conversation with Elon Musk, and the media just loses it. He's rambling. And May Musk, Elon Musk's mom, which is just so cool because she's like, I love moms. I obviously, I'm a mom. I love my mom, and I love that mama bear, right? That never goes away. It's like, are you messing with one of my kids? I'm sorry. My child, are you okay? If you want to get to my child, you got to go through me. Well, Mae Musk gets on and she's like, calls out Dana Bash on CNN, who selectively cuts out a part of Elon Musk and Trump's conversation about nuclear energy. So these two guys are talking about nuclear energy and how we could use nuclear energy. It burns clean. It makes sense. It's affordable. Let's do it. They clip all of that out. I'm talking about nuclear energy, and they go straight to saying that she says that they were saying that the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were no big deal. That is not what happened. I listened to the entire interview, but that's what they do. Here she is. Here's Dana.
I want to play one exchange that was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right,
it's really not something that, you know, so it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago.
And that's not what it was about. The entire conversation was about nuclear energy. It was about nuclear energy and how we can actually really use it as a human race to make the climate better. Like Elon Musk is very much a climate, like he loves the climate. And listen, if you are a conservative, you should care about this climate. You should care about the earth. You should care about protecting the earth. And if you are a Christian, you should most definitely care about this planet. Okay? God commanded us to take dominion and to take care of this planet. Okay? I love this earth. That doesn't mean that suddenly you give all authority to some government agency to regulate humanity into shutting down our ability to innovate whatsoever to save the climate. Just let's be clear. You're not going to save the climate, okay? This climate belongs to God, the creator, the one who was and is to come. He's in charge. But I do believe in taking care of this climate. I do. But I don't believe in over-regulating humans to do it. Because that just literally it gives all authority and control to government. And I'm about not having the government in control, limiting the government's control. Because when a government has too much control, they corrupt. That's it, just all throughout history. You can study all throughout history. When a government becomes too massive and too in control, they become corrupt and they actually end up hurting those that they're trying to govern. Okay. So they're talking about climate and everything like that. And Mae Musk just totally calls her out. And this just shows how manipulating this media is that we're dealing with here. Now, manipulation is a form of witchcraft, right? If you look into that whole world, I don't want to go too deep into that because people are like, oh my gosh, Rachel. But manipulation is a form of witchcraft. And when you pray as a Christian, you should be praying against this stuff because people are massively being manipulated right now by watching these people. But I found this really entertaining. So Caitlin Collins, who is a reporter for CNN, she's on with Stephen Colbert this last week. And here's the exchange they have. And I found it very, very entertaining because it showed to me that even with this leftist audience, right, you have these, I mean, people that are watching Colbert, they're leftists, right? They're like, we hate Trump too because they've been told to hate him. They also, they're lefties. But when he says this, they laugh. So even the audience is like, oh, CNN objective. Like, that's funny. Like, that's funny. And so that says to me that people know that if you're sitting in front of if you're watching CNN, that you are definitely being told a certain narrative. You're being told to think a certain way. And even the audience there was like, yeah, you're not objective. Like, and stop it. Also, I really highly encourage every single person out there to look into who owns the media that you consume. I think that's really important. That I started to do that years ago when I started to get into politics. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you mean to tell me that there's people that own the media and they want us to, and they have their own objectives? I know that sounds like, Rachel, you were like, that's stupid. But there's people out there that own the media and they want us to think a certain way like they do. And then who are these people? And once you start to go down that route and you're like, oh, wait a minute, you own CNN? Wait, you own ABC? You own NBC? And you start to research who these people are that own the media you consume, you're just being told to think like they think. You're just their little robot, okay? So I highly encourage you to break off of that and begin to say, okay, I'm going to listen to this and this completely opposite view. Okay, I will watch CNN. Oh, no, don't say you do, Rachel. Just to hear what they're saying. I have to hear what they're saying because I have to know what my family and friends are being told. So then I can argue or counter that because I've done my own individual research and not just sat under that one, spotlight of just being fed one certain thing. Like, I highly encourage you to bounce around and then think, okay, wait a minute. Okay, now I can kind of figure it out. I think that's really important. Anyways. Okay, so what else do we have here? I really quick want to give a shout out. I'm not going to run the promo. I do almost every time I do this, but we're cranking away here. A shout out to Redemption Shield, redemptionshield.com. They produce all sorts of products that protect against the electromagnetic field that we experience every single day. You've got cell phone towers, you've got cell phones, you've got all sorts of stuff that are giving off electromagnetic radiation, and that's not healthy. Like, it's not good for you. And so it's important to use products or to have products that protect you from that, or that kind of then balance your body. And so I actually use their grounding sheets. They're laced with copper and silver, and they kind of, like, I would say almost detoxify in a way, like your body at night as you're sleeping from all of that radiation that you've experienced during the day. A lot of people say that they get better sleep, less inflammation in their bodies. And I highly recommend them. I do. It's a Christian conservative that runs the business there, and I want to support people that support the values that I support. So it's it's redemptionshield.com. You can use the code word MOM for 10% off. So cool. All right, you guys. What else? Oh, so Biden is again pushing violence. I was on Twitter yesterday and I saw this clip of him, and I'll just play it. Let's just play it. Here he is.
You may have heard about the MAGA Republican Project 2025 plan. They want to repeal Medicare's power to negotiate drug prices. Let Big Pharma back to charge them whatever they want. Let me tell you what our Project 2025 is. Beat the hell out of them.
He sounds like a nice guy. Like, that's so sweet to say. That's a month after Trump was almost assassinated. Beat the hell out of him, right? Yeah, let's beat the hell out of him. Real unifier, right? I mean, remember, people are voting for Biden in 2020 because he's going to unify. He's going to unify the country. He's going to bring us all together. We're just going to love one another and just enjoy the ride. We are so not unified underneath this president at all. Remember when he said, I would have put a bullseye on him? Let's just replay this one.
Your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there's very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing.
Bullseye. I mean, bullseye is used when you try to shoot a target. Get the bullseye. So the great unifier, guys. He's just like a grandpa, right? He's just such a nice guy. He's going to bring us all together. Talk about violence, huh? I don't know what you're supporting when you support that. Also, the World Health Organization, the WHO, has declared that monkeypox is a global health emergency. And we've got 82 days before the 2024 election. That sounds so familiar. Like, doesn't it? I know I'm seeing people wear masks again. I do really question the intelligence of humanity. Like, but that shouldn't surprise you. I mean, right? They're like, let's throw in monkeypox. Throw it in. It's election season. Throw it in. Okay. So that's that for that. Okay. I have to hit this because when I was gone a couple weeks back, a white dude's for Harris. And now there's a straight dudes for Harris. And there's a white woman's only for Harris. These Zoom calls that are taking place. And I was away and I saw this white dudes for Harris phone call. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this needs to be parodied. This what white dude supports Harris? Like let's kind of get to know what kind of dude is going to support Harris. So here's this. I did not post it directly on Facebook because of the censorship there. Hopefully I get away with it playing it on the stream. We'll see. Here you go, guys.
Hey, I am a white dude for Harris. Voting for Harris. I'm a male. I identify as male. A he, him. And I'm voting for Harris. Kamala Harris. Now you might have thought that it was racist to have a white guys only Zoom call a couple weeks back, and it was, but we get away with that because we're Democrats. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I might have low testosterone. I might not. I might. And my wife definitely wears the pants in our relationship. I'm just being honest. I pretty much do whatever she says to avoid conflict. I'm a yes dear dude. I'm miserable. But we all are, right? Right? I watch The View and Bravo TV. I know all of the Real Housewives names. My wife holds the remote, so that's what she chooses to watch. Why am I voting for Harris? Honestly, because my wife would kill me if she found out I didn't. Happy wife, happy life, right? Do I think the country is moving in the right direction? Like dudes in women's sports. I gotta say yes on this because my wife thinks that's great. My wife rages day and night about Trump. She's just constantly So yeah, I'm gonna be voting for Harris because she's done so much. And I have to. I have to.
So that is the white dude that votes for Harris. I mean, honestly, and I do believe this is parodied off of people I know. Okay, the dudes that I know that are going to be voting for Harris definitely are in a home situation where the wife runs the show. Like, they're not making the calls, the wife is. And I guarantee you that wife can't stand Trump. So she's influenced her husband to the point of he just does whatever she says. I mean, that is the white dude that's voting for Harris. Let's be honest. You're not going to meet any alpha male out there that's like totally balanced hormonally. That's like, yeah, let's go Harris. She's just, I don't know. After that, like, what do you say? What do you say about Harris that you're like, this is why I'm supporting her? Without mentioning Trump, they can't. Like, it's like, I'm because she's so joyful. I'm just like, I mean, that's what we come back to. It's like, what? Oh my gosh. And these people vote. Anyways. Okay. And I got to hit this because, and I said this at the top, but, all of these, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like Harris, I don't know if people are clear on this, and maybe it just needs to be said again. And I'm going to play this video that I shot. Harris is vice president, like right now. It's the Biden-Harris administration. So I highly encourage you guys, and I did post this directly on Facebook. It's up on YouTube. It's on Rumble. Share this with the people that you know that are like, we're going to turn it around. Like, if we can get Harris in there, we can just flip it. We're going to flip it around. We're going to thrive. We're going to be okay. We're going to make it through. Share this video with them.
Does Kamala know that she's part of the current administration that has driven our country into the ground? Are we all supposed to pretend that she's not vice president right now? On day one, I'll do this or I'll do that, or I mean, stop. It's the Biden-Harris administration right now. Kamala's last name is Harris. Am I the only one that knows this? I mean, you could not tax tips now. Right now, you could do that. You could bring down inflation now. Like, again, right now. You could stop the fentanyl crisis now. Price gouging, that's a big one for you. Price gouging. You could do something about that now. You could also secure the border. I mean, that's kind of a big one. And you guys have blown it on that one. But hey, I mean, you've got a few months left. And you could make that happen. Because you're part of the current administration. I don't know if I've said that enough, but maybe I just need to repeat it a few times. But you haven't done any of this. Day one of my administration. Please tell me people are not dumb enough to fall for this.
So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So to vote for the same thing, Harris has been in charge. She has been working with Biden. She was, whether they tell you this or not, and I know they're telling you, Harris was never in charge of the border. Like, she was never in charge of that's just a lie. You're lying. She was never in charge of the border. Let me just read you. Where is this stuff? Let me read you some of the headlines. Let's just read some of the headlines. This is Kamala Harris herself. POTUS asked me to lead our diplomatic work with Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to address the situation at the southern border. This is Kamala Harris saying that she's been placed in charge of the southern border herself. Okay. What else do we have? This is the Washington Examiner. Kamala Harris's record as borders are under scrutiny as the White House seeks to boost her image. This is, again, I don't know, where's the camera? It's so bad like that. This is Washington Examiner. What else do we have here? Let's get a liberal. Let's get a lefty. Let's get a lefty news source. Since, people are like that. It's just, you're just AP. right? AP. Biden taps Harris to lead response to the border challenges. Okay. Now, I'm sure they're scrubbing the internet right now, but I just went in and screenshotted these about a month ago when I started to hear the lies that she's not in charge of the border. That's just a lie. You're just a liar. Okay. She was placed in charge of the border. Like, again, they're just lying to you. Washington Post. Senator Rick Scott asked border czar Kamala Harris to preside over Mayorkas impeachment trial. So, like, they were actually calling her border czar. This is, I can't even see it. I'm sorry. I know it's like fuzzy, but let's just, who else? Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. With new immigration rule, Harris gets a politically perilous assignment. And then it goes on to talk about her role at the southern border. What else? CBS, who is like gone full gaslight. They're like, everything is wonderful. Everything is awesome. Kamala is amazing. We love Kamala so much. Harris to lead administration efforts to stem migration at the border. Okay, I'm sure they've scrubbed all of this, you guys. Okay. This didn't happen. It didn't happen. It did happen. It did happen. And she let 11 million illegal immigrants into our country. And many of these illegals have violated women and murdered Americans and brought fentanyl from China over, and that's killing Americans. Okay. Under her watch. I could go on. I have a lot of them. Axios. Biden puts Harris in charge of the southern border. They're like, we didn't write that. We didn't write that. You're not seeing it. She's lying to you. She's lying to you. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. I kind of feel like it's like Wizard of Oz, right? Where it's like, the guy behind the curtain, or what Oz is behind the curtain. It's like this great, terrible, look at this. They're like, look at Oz. Like, look at Kamala. She's amazing. She's so wonderful. But like behind the scenes, you're like, no, that's not really happening. It's just a dude like controlling this. It's not, none of this is real. None of it's real. This is all just like, it's a Hollywood production. You're watching a movie script play out. They've created Kamala. It's not real. It's not real. She went from the most disliked vice president in our country's history. She couldn't even get any percent of the vote in the Democrat Party primary in 2020. That she had to drop out, and now she's going to come in and save us? And it's just all just like, whoa, look at her, look at her, look at her. And she won't take questions from the press because she doesn't want you to know who she is. She doesn't want you to know that she was raised by a father who aligned with Marxist ideology. Look into that. Don't look at it. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Ah. Okay, one more shout out to a promo, and then I've got one more thing I want to cover, and then we're out. TheFentanylTest.com. TheFentanylTest.com. Just like I mentioned, yes, border's still open. Yes, China trying to kill us, sending fentanyl through our border, and it is in drugs. It's in illegal drugs, but it's also being laced with and I tell this story, and it's so horrible, and I hate to say it, but a mother I know lost her daughter who she thought she was taking an anti-anxiety pill, right? And it was laced with fentanyl. These strips can detect any kind, pretty much any size. I mean, I know there's like a minimum, but size of fentanyl in anything, any substance. It can go in liquid, it can go on a hard surface, but it can detect fentanyl. Now, you might have a loved one that, God forbid, we don't want that, but struggles with some kind of drug use of some kind. You might have a kid going off to college right now, and you just want to, just have these on hand. If you're in a sketchy situation, someone gives you a drink, someone gives you something, have this on hand. TheFentanylTest.com. can test it. There's like little vials that they test. They can test it all. And you can have them on hand. They come in like a pack. I don't know of how many, but you can use the promo code MOM and also get 10% off and really support the people over there. Strong conservatives and fighting for this country, same values. And we got to be supporting people that support the values we support, right? Okay. So check them out. thefentanyltest.com. Okay. Here we go. This is the final thing. And I want to drive this home because we keep hearing the slogan, Kamala's slogan, we're not going back. We're not going back. I saw the worst video. I don't know if you guys saw it. Oh my gosh. It was like this. I felt like I was in Appalachia somewhere, backcountry, with some very interesting characters singing, we're not going back. We're not going back. And they were all like Kamala Harris supporters. And they were like in their 70s. And they're like, we're not going back. And they're like talking about bodily like autonomy, which doesn't make any sense because you probably all got vaccinated. So like, anyway, so they're like saying, we're not going back. And we hear Kamala, we hear Tampon Tim Waltz, we're not going back. Well, I want you to know what that means. I want you to know what we're not going back means. It means that we're not going back to a secure border. It means we're not going back to lower inflation. It means we're not going back to lower interest rates. It means we're not going back to America First policies. It means we're not going back to lower gas prices. We're not going back to lower grocery prices. We're not going back to Americans not dying of fentanyl poisoning. We're not going back to Americans not being raped and murdered by illegal immigrants. We're not going back to having to work 2 to 3 jobs just to get by. We're not going back to giving dignity to the womb, to life in the womb. We're not going back to no propaganda and indoctrination in our schools. We're not going back to law and order. We're not going back to lower taxes. We're not going back to not having to pay other people's debt. We're not going back to no new wars. We're not going back to less homelessness. We're not going back to boys in boys sports and girls in girls sports. We're not going back to not mutilating children in the name of affirmation. And we're not going back to free speech and less censorship. That's what it means when they say we're not going back. They don't want to go back to any of that. They want to burn it all down. And you would say, well, why? Why do they want to do that? Because they believe that if they annihilate the middle class, if they annihilate pretty much, if they wipe it all out, and you're standing in a breadline, and you become so dependent on government to help you, that then they can control you. They can control you. If you are dependent, you are not in control. And why would they want control? Why would anyone? Because it is human nature to want power. It's human nature to desire power. And power is never satisfied. It's never, ever, ever satisfied. It's never like, okay, I've got enough power. These people want to rule the world. Rachel, you sound crazy, crazy. Well, then tell me what policies that Kamala Harris supports that help America. Because like I mentioned earlier, we know what happens when you continue to spend. We know what happens. She wants to give $25,000 to new homeowners. Do you know what that does? That's going to create another housing bubble that's going to burst. And it's probably going to be even worse because you're combining with everything else, not just the housing, but everything else in our economy. People then will get homes they can't afford, and you're going to just a massive crash. And anyone that can just think just slightly, they know that, right? And I don't think Kamala doesn't know that. I don't think she's like, oh, I didn't know that. They know. They know what these policies do. and they want to do them intentionally because they want to tear it all down. They want to unburden what has been. Oh gosh, let me show you this too. They want to unburden what has been to create a communist utopia. And I want to show you this. Oh gosh, and I need to put a meme up of this. Basically, it's a communist, it's a demonic statue that is the symbol of unburden what has been. And I'll have to meme it. I'll put it up on my page, but it's the same, unburden what has been. And when you watch Kamala talk about unburdening what has been, she uses the same hand motions. We need to unburden what has been. That is being done intentionally, and it's dark. Gosh, I should just find it. Let me show you. Unburden what has been. Sorry, I got like something in my throat. Statue. Here you go. Let's just show it to you. And it's like, what? And once you see it, guys, once you start to connect it and you start to really pray, then it all comes into clear view. Hold on. And now I can't find it on the internet. Oh, how frustrating is this? I should have just sorry, I should not have this much like dead silence on a live. Like people are like, is she, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I can't find it now, and I'm so frustrated by it. I wonder if they scrapped it. Like, this is weird. Like the first time I would do it, gosh, if somebody has it, can you post a picture on in the comments? I'm gonna find it. It's got to be somewhere. Hold on. Oh, I mean, it's been scrubbed here. Here we go. Ha! I'm gonna screenshot it. This. Okay. That is the unburden what has been. This is being done intentionally. Okay. Because, guys, it is a religion to these people. They believe that they're God. They believe in this, and it goes dark. You start to really dive into this stuff. You're like, wow. But that's it. Unburden what has been. So I want you to see that image whenever she does it. That's unburden what has been. That's what she wants for your future. That's what she's about. So I wish more people just knew, right? And I mean, I guess that's why I do what I do. And my hope is that one hears it. That one's like, wait a minute. I can kind of see what she's saying here. We need one. You start to get one, and you get another one, you get another one, you get another one. They all start to wake up. As I mentioned last week, prayer wakes people up to this stuff. Prayer wakes people up. They're like, wait a minute. You can pray for people that are blind, that cannot see it. Their hearts are hardened. They're led by hate. They're like, no. You can pray that God will soften their heart. You can pray that the veil on their eyes come off and they can begin to see clearly. You can pray for a spiritual awakening over these people. There is nothing that God, the God we serve, the God of creation, Jehovah, the one who was and is to come, Elohim, you can pray and believe that he can open eyes. He can do anything. There is nothing that he cannot do. And I know that right now the media is gaslighting you. The media is telling you that the race is already over, that the polls are, that it's a runaway, that there's no turning back. But I'm kind of friends with a guy on X, McGill, California. And he was talking to me last night and just reminded me of when the spies went into the Canaan, into the land of Canaan. Remember that, when Moses sent out the spies, right? They all of them came back and said, all of them except for two came back and said, it's over. Like there's just no way. Like they're giants. We look like grasshoppers. There's no way we could take that land, Moses. There's no way. Those guys are too big. They're fierce. They're terrifying. They're ferocious. There's no way. And Caleb and Joshua said, "Oh, we can take it. We can take it." And that's because they knew that the God that they served was more than able to take that land for them. And so do not feel defeated right now. Do not feel like, oh my gosh, we can't, begin to pray, because there's nothing that God cannot do. And I really am at a place where if God grants us another 4 years of not installing all of this communism, if not installing all of these tear down America, unburden what has been policies, if he delays that, the only reason he would delay that is because he still has people out there that he wants in his kingdom. He still wants more souls saved. It all comes back to evangelism for me. It all comes back to sharing the gospel. That's the only reason. That is the only reason why you would be like, just burn it all down. You know, it's time. Like we see the wickedness, we see what they're doing to kids. We see the evil that is running rampant. You're thinking, God, like, let's go. Like, it is time for justice. It is time for judgment. These wicked people that are doing horrible things, like, let's go. The only reason that God would hold out on that and say, no, not yet. I'm going to grace you with a little bit more time. It's to share his word. It's to make disciples. That's what it's about. Let's just be honest with it. Like, it all comes back to that. And this goes so far beyond Trump for me. It goes back to evangelism, because communism will not let you evangelize. Communism hates Christianity. Communism hates God. Communism will do everything it can. That's why the Christians in China are underground. They cannot share Jesus. Okay? Communism shuts that down. The only reason that God would hold it back is because he wants more to know him. And we know that God's heart is that none should perish, but that all should come to him. So I've kind of that's where I'm at peace with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at peace with it. Because it's like, okay. And for me, it gives me kind of like an idea of where we are at in time. Where are we in time? Like, where are we in all of this? Like, when I read my Bible, like, where are we in time? You're starting to see a lot of the stuff come into play. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if we get another 4 years, it's just to evangelize. It's just to share Jesus. Really. That's what it's about. So anyways, that is it. I've gone over an hour. I wasn't supposed to. I try to keep it under an hour because people are like, okay, you've been talking too long. You're just talking and talking. But that's it for me. I want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters, to my Facebook supporters. You guys keep me going. You really do. You're such a blessing. I was talking to a guy last night that he's like, are you monetized here? Are you monetized there? I'm like, no, I'm not. They've stopped monetization on some of the sites that I'm on. They don't like what I'm saying. So it's difficult. So I come back to my Patreon supporters that are able to support me outside of all that, regardless of whether I'm able to monetize on a certain social media platform or not. I have people that are supporting me monthly, and it is a blessing. So let me drop my support there. If you feel led to do that, please do. And yeah, trust in God. My kids were like, well, what happens if so-and-so wins? I'm like, we trust God. Like, I'm not, oh no, like, God sees it all. He's not caught up. Oh no, God sees it. God sees it. And everything that I do believe that we are totally in his timing right now. And he has set things into motion and wants them in motion. And we just trust him. We really do trust him. Trust in him. He can handle it. Be like a Caleb. Be like a Joshua. Okay. That is the mindset we are to have. We are not defeated. We are more than conquerors in Christ Jesus, right? We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. We are the head and not the tail. We're above and not beneath. Everything and all we put our hands to prospers, right? All right. All right, you guys. God bless you and enjoy your weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.